around the world who are doing phenomenal things. So how do we get started with this concept, Lee?
Well, I think ultimately it was a reaction to COVID. We were literally working on a different concept that involved women and really helping women have the opportunities to progress in their careers, and we're really putting something together to do that. And we had all these people lined up to interview and to get information from, and COVID happened. So.
That changed life for everyone.
It did, and so for us, we were talking one day, and so we were talking about what we're doing, and I said, I'm thinking about doing this podcast, and I'm thinking about doing this, and he said, okay, let's do it. And so Women with Grit came.
There it is. Big on execution, we make it happen.
Yes, so it's been exciting.
Yes, it has. We've had just phenomenal guests even over the last year, and looking forward to all that's coming ahead. So how can they reach us?
They can reach us on YouTube, Exceptional Women with Grit. You can subscribe to our page. You can check out our Facebook page, Women with Grit, or you can go to our website, womenwithgrit.com.
That's it.
And the best way to catch us is Tuesdays at 7 p.m. Central Time, when Sherelle and I are live with our guests. And literally, I think the most exciting thing for me is what we talked about. We wanted to have a program that brought in women from around the world. So that's our globe here. We literally interview people in Bogota, Colombia, over in London, and then all over the United States as well. So that's been exciting. That's one of the benefits of COVID. Everybody's used to this virtual world, and nobody feels like they have to fly in to be live in the studio.
That's right. So hopefully you will join us live or catch the replay, right?
The replays, that's right. We have a bunch of replays, and I mean, if I were you, I would binge listen. People binge watch on Netflix, binge listen and watch Women with Grit. There have been some phenomenal interviews and some phenomenal tips that will help anyone. We have men and women that watch. That's right. And I think the tips that you get, the things that you learn from these women that are our guests will help anyone advance their careers, advance their lives, and just really live a full life and a happy life. And I think that's exciting.
Yes, I would agree 100%. So if you're interested, definitely join us, follow us, engage with us, like us, share it, all of those things. And if you know a phenomenal woman or a woman with grit that you would recommend being on the show, be sure that you write us on any one of those forums, and a member of our team will get back to you.
Yes. And don't forget, if you have a product or service, a company that you want to promote or a cause, give us a shout. We're happy to do that. There is a cost. But it's not much, not yet. So you better get in while it's cheap.
That's right. That's right. Well, thank you. And so far, we'll see you online.
Talk to you later. Peace.
Bye. We're back.
Hey, good to see everyone. Thank you all.
Yes, so excited for season 3 of Women with Grit. Hey, Lee.
Hey, what's going on, Sherelle? How are you?
I'm fantastic. Excited to be back. Excited to be doing this for season 3. How was your summer?
The summer was great. It was full. I tell you what, you think you have one thought of how things are going to go, and they can go a totally different way. But it was a great summer, and spent some time doing college tours with L3. This is his senior year. So I got a chance to look at it from the perspective of an athlete, though, those type of college visits versus the ones that I did, which was, will you please let me in? So,
that is different.
Yeah. So that was fun. And watching the kids grow up has been phenomenal. How about you?
It's exciting. We have been just out about down in Florida, traveling just a little bit, as much as we could, given the dynamics of the pandemic, but won't complain too much about it. But I'm just excited to be back, excited to be back with Women with Grit and interviewing all these amazing women, especially kicking off even tonight with Pearlie Jackson. So,
yes. Yeah. Pearlie. Yeah. I go many years back with her husband. We're fraternity brothers. But he's one of the first people that I met when I moved to Nashville. He was still in dental school. So he's a dentist and very, very successful oral surgeon. So I remember back in the day.
Back, yes.
Before he and Pearlie were married.
Well, that is awesome. I'm just excited about it, excited that you all are here. So, welcome back. And definitely want to welcome those who are joining us from YouTube or Facebook, or if you've even caught us on our LinkedIn, just our different feeds. We're so excited. Go ahead, grab a friend, tell them we are on. We've got another amazing woman to bring before you this evening. But before we move forward, Lee, who do we want to thank tonight? We've got so much expansion going on. I'm excited.
Gosh, I don't even know where to start. We want to thank Vision Strategy Management and all the things that you're doing, Sherelle. I know you were busy all summer doing good things and helping people get their businesses together and their lives together, and just doing some phenomenal things, helping people implement their vision. And so I know you're excited about that. Again, Terrell Perry is with us still, Molet Investment Services, 615-627-0968. I think he prefers an email though, Terrell, Terrell, at moletinvestmentservices.com. Leon Wright, you want to reach out to Brianna at MJC Insurance Group. I tell you what, Brianna called me earlier this summer and said, because I think the last time we talked about them, they saved me quite a bit of money on my car insurance. So she called me earlier this summer and said, hey, how would you like for me to save you another $600 a year off of your car insurance? I was like, what do you mean? Sign me up. What do I have to do? And that's the beauty of MJC. They're able to shop so many different companies. And these are big companies. These are companies that you know. And they're able to shop those companies and find the best fit for you and the best price for you and the best overall value. So check them out at mjcinsurance.com, mjcinsurance.com. You can Google them. Again, Brianna is the young lady that I'm working with over there. And the table, I tell you what, the table, you all heard about the table last year. We're coming up on 1 year. And Kate and I have been having a lot of fun, but the table has taken over our lives.
It's a great cause and initiative that speaks to the volume of the need and the impact that it has. So
yes, well, I agree with that. Thanks for sharing that, Sherelle. Sherelle is one of our sponsors of the table. But so the table is up to over 200 members. I think we're about 210, 215 in not quite a year yet. I think our anniversary date or the first member joined October 16th, I believe it was. And then we have 15 sponsors, and these are, big and small companies. And so that's going well. But I tell you what's really phenomenal are the connections and the networking that's going on, and people of color that are actually, seeing the opportunities to increase their level of prosperity. And you have so many folks that are reaching out and helping and mentoring and sponsoring and doing deals with them and introducing them to different people. So it's just been phenomenal. So check out thetableaction.com, thetableaction.com, and just learn more about the table. It may be for you, it may not be for you. But, we get a lot of job openings from different companies that are looking to have a more diverse workforce. So they send those to us, and we get those out to our members and ask our members to pass them out. And these are good paying, these are career type positions, right? Mm-hmm. So check us out and see if it's something that works for you. And then Frank Stanton Developers, that's what I'm doing these days, is real estate development. And we're building in Brentwood, an area community called Raintree Forest Reserve. One of the houses under contract already. The other one, once we list it, it'll probably go pretty quickly. We have a couple other projects going. We're getting ready to launch our Alto and Contralto condominium project, and the Contralto. So it's just a phenomenal condominium project that's going to happen in Midtown on Church Street. So looking forward to that. And then we're working with families and people that have land or have resources, and they have land that they want to develop and, spend in the family. They don't really want to sell it. And so we're working with them to help develop those properties for them and literally turn over the keys at the end. So we can help them do everything from conceptualize, get the drawings, get the financing, get it built, and turn over the keys, or manage it for them if they want to. So it's been a busy summer.
Yeah, that's what it sounds like. But it
Yes.
sounds like it's also been a good summer in spite of, you weren't just busy, you were impactful. You were
Yeah,
making things happen.
that sounds good. Thank you.
Yes.
I like the way you put it.
Yes, and just like our guest, so I
Yes,
don't want to, belabor it. We've got an amazing guest, so I'm going to tell you just a little bit about her. I personally love Pearlie, but we'll go ahead and give you a quick introduction of her. So, Pearlie Jackson has over 35 years of combined experience in the areas of systems engineering, information technology, and cybersecurity experience. Sister in STEM. That right there could preach, but I'm going to continue on.
for sure.
With a long-standing passion for providing solutions to strengthen organizations, Pearlie has demonstrated the ability to envision and implement innovative programs to bring awareness to leadership tiers on various local organizations of various local organizations by incorporating solutions. Her professional experiences vary from being a rocket scientist contractor for NASA or Johnson Space Center, supporting the United States Naval Reserve Information Systems Office for Electronic Warfare Stimulators, to currently providing enterprise security risk assessment solutions for Vanderbilt University Medical Center. Pearlie is a graduate of Grambling State University with dual degrees in physics and mathematics with an MBA from New York Institute of Technology. She has served in communities in her church, Morehouse College, Southeast Regional Parent Representative, Jack and Jill of America, and Alpha Kappa Alpha Sorority Incorporated, to name a few. Pearlie is married to her college sweetheart, D. Carl Jackson, for 29 years and is the mother of three young adult children. I'm going to bring to the stage, introduce to some, and refamiliarize yourself with others. Miss Pearlie Jackson. Hey, Pearlie.
Hello, hello, hello.
Hey, Pearlie. Good to
How
see
are
you.
you all?
Great, great. Good to see you.
Good to see you. Good to see you. Good to see you. Thank you, first of all, for allowing me to just be here. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Well, I didn't realize how smart you were. Uh,
I don't know if, I don't
I
know if
I knew you were smart.
Thought
I
you
knew,
what's happening here.
no, I knew you were smart, but I didn't know you were like a NASA space engineer, kind of, like a real
Like
rocket
a rocket
scientist. Yeah,
scientist
you know how
kind of
people
thing,
say
kind of
they
going
say it ain't
on.
rocket science. Well, for you, it is. So,
Yeah, because of you'd be in conversations and people are like, well, you don't have to be a rocket scientist.
yeah.
But
So you want to say, actually, you do.
to get there, yes, you do. Yes,
Yes.
you do. We're gonna do some physics, okay?
Right. Yeah, and
awesome.
in cyber security, so you're staying current with the, that's a big deal right now.
It is. It is. When you think about everybody trying to tap into everyone's data,
Hmm.
systems, or what have you, even if you talk, you don't even have to talk about corporate infrastructure, but it can be at home. It can
Hmm.
be on our basic phone, that this thing right here that everybody
Right.
carries. So just looking at some of those things that we can do better as a whole. So it's just been an encompassing variation, but yeah, I've stayed in technology for a little bit, I guess you could say.
Yep. And all areas that are pertinent to people's lives. So it's definitely job security there.
Yes, it's good job security, very good job security. I know my dad when I was growing up, and I love clothes, I love fashion,
Hmm.
and at the time being single, he said to me, just make sure you get you a good paying job. know,
Engineering will do it.
I
uh,
was like,
uh,
okay.
Engineering will
So
do it.
definitely, definitely.
Well,
yeah.
Pearlie, let's go ahead and get us started with you. Tell us about you. Tell us about your unique story of grit and how you got to where you are.
Okay, okay. My unique story of grit in terms of, and I have to actually be honest, because it started from my humble beginnings of growing up in a small town, Oakdale, Louisiana. They have about maybe 8 to 10,000 people now. But when I think about people being and carrying on through their careers, you have to look at your family, your friends, and especially that village. Because to me, I was able to actually transfer and go from place to place to place and actually adapt various villages there that supported me. I remember having a teacher from middle school, and I'm from a large family. I'm the last of 11, 7 boys,
Wow.
4 girls,
Mm.
all, same mom and dad. Yes, we're not a blended family, but we're all living. And we actually have a Monday prayer call
Oh wow.
on Monday mornings. So you won't be able to contact me at a certain time because we're all in prayer. So
Okay.
that's where we start off, because we always knew that's the beginning of where it all began. And our faith is very it's pivotal in terms of my career. And firstly, I have to say that. But starting off, I guess in finishing high school, and I went to Grambling.
Okay.
When I think about it now, I didn't even, how you say back then we had everything was paper. So we
Right.
completed applications by paper, mailed it in. Hopefully we had the right address, everything going on. It went to the right department and everything. But I was awarded 2 scholarships from Grambling State University. And basically, I had not a clue what physics was.
Mm.
I didn't know what it was going to bring about and what it involved. But how you say, your steps are already ordered and everything works out really well, but also preparation, because I loved math. I know my dad used to kid and ask my mom about it, and he would say, but he wouldn't say it in front of me. I think he would say it on the side and say, you got to watch her, because her playtime consists of the book. She reading all the time. She doing puzzles. She reading. What's something wrong? Something wrong. What is wrong with her? But that was my interest. That was
Mhm.
really my interest. That was my heart. And I'm glad I didn't hear that, because right now we have to be careful about saying no to so many visions,
Right.
and kind of stunting that direction. But it started there, from Oakdale to the community with my church, then graduating from Grambling. And that's when I began in going to, and I say this, my first job, is the fancy word, basically breaking up pyrolysis of carbonites in terms of oil in soil. In other words, I was breaking up some dirt. That was I was working for Shell Research Center, and basically we were testing the actual hydrocarbon portion of the actual sand that they would actually bring in to see if their pace, basically, if it was actually maybe a good oil sample or not. So don't discredit your first job, no matter how it may look or what have you. But I say don't discredit that. But that was my first job in terms of after I graduated from school. Then I went on, and basically, and I have to say, I had a sister, have a sister, retired now, but she worked in mission control as well. And I had my brother, my sister Aura worked in mission control at NASA, and my brother actually worked also for one of the engineering companies there, Ford. So they had a jump kick on it, and basically moved there and started my, I guess, career in terms of the actual networking going through. I started firstly at Unisys and then went on to work at McDonnell Douglas, which is now Boeing, um,
Yeah.
uh, aerospace company.
Yeah.
And I say the grit there was having a group, and it was nothing like having a group of engineers around you, but it was really special because in this group, which we don't commonly get to see. But I was actually surrounded with about maybe 12 to 15, and we were all tight at that time,
That's so
African American engineers.
That's
And the majority of them were from HBCUs. I was from Grambling. We had a couple of them from Prairie View because we were in Texas, and then from I think Southern University. But we were a tight knit group,
yes.
and we were very close knit in terms of supportive. Anything going down in terms of projects, we kind of just stayed on top of it, sharing information. And now when I think about it, when you think about it now, you don't really think about you being the minority of the group. And I'm not talking in terms of African American, but when you look around, you might be the only woman in that group. And when you look at Hidden Figures and you say, oh, that was years ago, even
Not so many years ago, huh?
exactly. It wasn't that many years ago because I remember being there. It wasn't a lot, but when we were able to be in that environment, it was so special. So I say that was just one of the highlights of me getting to that point. Now, of course, you got to do your homework. You got to do a lot of things in terms of staying abreast. Because when you think about technology and STEM today, you don't see a lot of people that will choose those careers because they're saying, I won't be able to get there. But I have to say that it takes a community and it takes someone who's able to actually go in and say, okay, I'm going to help you get to the next stage. Even when I was at McDonnell Douglas, we had a man by the name of Bill Trahan. He was the ombudsman at the time. And basically, we would, have different outings. And I remember my first day, actually, before I started working there, and it was an onset of me realizing where I was, because that first day was in January 1986. The next day was the Challenger crash. If
Oh,
you
wow.
remember,
Yeah,
January 1986, and that was where that first
I
school
do.
teacher.
Sherelle looks lost, but I do.
Oh, okay. We talking on our age,
I'm not.
but
Come on now.
on that, in the seriousness of it, because at the time before I went there, I was working at Unisys, but that's when it dawned on me, I've stepped into something. You say,
Mhm.
I don't know what I'm supposed to do, because I was really, after I, finished cracking the soil, I went on to start working there in that technology, in that aerospace industry. But the significance of the value and the quality of work that you do. And I mean to tell you, it was an unfortunate accident that happened, because, as you know, Ron McNair was also in there. But and from there, you start looking at, and at that point, any decision that we made in terms of the software testing, of verification, everything was like, if you talk about testing now, imagine 20 times that, because you had the news media on you, and we were just trying to figure out exactly where, at what point, how things were. So it kind of revamped how some of the programs started, in terms, not started, but began looking at, and they were already testing to that level of degree, but it meant more, especially because you're dealing with lives that were lost.
Right.
And all. So that was it was interesting, because I came on the heels and started that day after that accident.
Oh,
and
wow.
I remember a reporter actually being approached by a reporter. And, of course, you have your cues. Do not say anything. Please point them to the communications office. And that was my second day. So, I was like, they said, go to
Talk to them over there.
Go talk to them.
go to them over there, because this is my second day. You know what I'm saying? I don't know, but it's just interesting from that path, and how it pivoted to other projects, and working with other sectors, but still in the same sector, especially when we talk about aircraft and different things like that. So,
well, I guess if you think about now, I mean, today the new uniform for the Space Force was shown, and when the former president mentioned Space Force, I thought he had lost it.
well, yes. I
but
mean,
but it's come
because
to fruition. And then of
when
course
you think
Richard Branson and Jeff Bezos have done their
exactly when you think about that, and I started thinking about that, and I said, okay, so how do we feel about not say civilians, but regular folks getting in aircraft and
mhm,
going across the world and around the world a couple of times, and then
mhm.
coming back hopefully safely? How do we, figure that out? But I also know that, I think at the time in which I was transitioning, going from one location to the other, we were actually had started doing business with Russia.
Ah,
And basically, there were just different things. And I was actually at Johnson Space Center in Houston, Texas. But you had Cape Canaveral, and then you
mhm,
had also Huntsville. So you had different locations, and everybody was doing just different things in terms of how they actually promoted to the actual space industry and to that program. However, because now when I look at, and at the time, uh, how contracts worked, and then basically there had someone who was awarded a contract, and it was almost like you just would switch badges,
ah,
so
okay,
you weren't really downsized, but you switched and went from one contractor to the other,
okay.
all supporting the space transportation system. So just and now when I think about it, and I was thinking, okay, what if I was just thinking about that yesterday too, Lee, because I was saying, okay, if I had the opportunity, would I actually want to go up? And I don't know. I believe in science, though. I really do.
Mhm.
But, and I know they cannot be spending that much money on aircraft or, going that way. But I like safety. I like
Okay,
playing it safe a little bit too. So
okay, yeah.
it's just interesting, though, because they did actually have experiments and just things that they were doing for, if I'm not mistaken, St. Jude.
Mhm.
So
Right, yeah.
I think when you look at the whole picture and how it is about, basically, I think it's a great experience.
Mhm.
I probably would not have been on that first one that
Went
went
out.
out.
You got a few of them under their belt.
You
So
see, yeah, a few other ones that let me let you get it warm first
yeah,
before I take that ride and stuff. But all is well, all is well.
okay.
And all.
So Pearlie, we're talking about technology.
Yeah.
Obviously, STEM is or STEAM. If you add arts, is this
Yeah.
it's a major force, especially when you look at career employment opportunities. Probably even people having the opportunity to start their own businesses. You just see so much happening. My mother, who's will be 85 on her birthday, was a civil engineer way back, right? So and I know back then it was her and just a bunch of men, bunch of and that was it
Yeah.
too, but so you think about your career, you think about your influence. What are you doing, or do you recognize and see how your success and your career influences other young ladies that are on their way, or and when I say and I say young, I mean they could be in college, new in the career, or teenagers, or even smaller that are thinking in terms of what do you say to them, and give me your
Well,
thoughts here.
definitely. I love people. First of all, I love to love people. I love people. I just love people.
Hmm.
And whenever I have the opportunity to just speak into someone, I think it's a privilege and an opportunity. I remember just at that point when I talked about working for McDonnell Douglas, we actually had started the actual African American engineers. We had a Ron McNair um, tutoring program that
Hmm.
we named. And so we were intentional about going into the schools, into HISD at that time, and they would allow us to go in. And we were all, pretty sound in math and science, but we were intentional about going into the schools because at that time, I didn't think about it, but it to me, math is foundational. And sometimes it depends on how it's instructed,
Mhm.
because you can teach math, but at the same time, you can be sitting there, la la la, I don't understand anything this man or lady is saying
Hmm.
because it's unique because everybody isn't meant to be a teacher, and no offense to that profession. But I think, and even when I talk about it now with my daughter, um, and she'll just say, for instance, she'll say, uh, no pun intended about Ed Spellman, no, but I'm just saying, she'll say, they're just teaching the book, you know,
Mm-hmm.
and that makes a big difference because to me, I enjoyed and I loved it. But it's also foundation to the point where sometimes it depends on how it's given or that information is given. So to answer your question, Lee, at any opportunity that I would have, even growing through early on years, and either whether it was through work or whether it was through my sorority or whether it was through my involvement at whatever, I always welcome going into the community and touching people. And I think most importantly, especially when we look at young people today, and they aspiring to be, and they seeing somebody who looks like them, that
Mm-hmm.
now that's some kind of special. And the thing about it, it is achievable.
Yeah.
So I think with that, just being able to speak into them positively. I don't do any tutoring, so don't nobody. Yeah, I stopped tutoring some time ago, so don't y'all be sending me no DMs or nothing. But I'm just saying, what I'm saying is basically keeping that hope alive and opening their eyes of opportunity
Mm-hmm.
so that they will be able to see it. Creating opportunities, creating sometimes it means that you have to reach in your own pocket and support somebody else's dream. And
Mm.
and I believe in that. I do. I do because I believe, I just believe it's not for me to capture and keep it all here. You know,
Right.
I think
Right.
part of that is for me to release some of that and give it and share it. So
Yeah.
I
You
I,
know,
I love people.
and I
Right.
love that you said, Pearlie, just the ability to speak into someone else's life positively, because as also, a fellow woman in STEM, one of the things that when I think about the success and kind of moving through it, it's challenging, right?
It
A
is.
lot of the times it's just you, or like you said, you're one in the room or one of few in the room, and having that additional voice sometimes is what you need to continue to push. I want to go back to your experience that you had at NASA. What was it like for you to actually journey through that experience as a young woman in engineering?
You know what? It's interesting that you say that because it wasn't hard. Um, I landed there
Mm-hmm.
and I didn't. And here's the thing, because I actually would work along engineers that were from MIT, Notre Dame.
Mm-hmm.
But you know how you say, when you know Pythagorean's theorem, when you know 2 + 2 = 4,
Mm-hmm.
and when you walk in there with a confidence, and I think me attending at HBCU, when you come through registration through a HBCU,
Standing on them
and you
lines.
have stood in line for some time, it will make you or break you. It will make you strong, y'all. Y'all know that.
I
And,
know.
and um and you have that, as you say, you have that grit and you have that determination that I didn't even look at it as a challenge.
Yeah.
I really didn't. I took it and I welcomed it and I kept going from
Mhm.
there.
Love it.
And especially when it was time for us to share
Mm-hmm.
just different things, it didn't matter who you were. And it's interesting because during the time, and I have to say, corporate America, it will hit you in a way of truthfulness. And sometimes women can be their own worst enemies.
Yes.
I'm just gonna have to go
Oh,
there.
speak
Because
on it. Speak on it. Absolutely. It's the
some
truth. Sometimes it's the truth.
sometimes we can be our own worst enemy. And the fact that and I'll just take, for instance, even like this form that you've created today, valuing yourself and who you are and what you are. But I've never been to the point, and part of, I think, my upbringing, even from my family, and we had limited means, but the richness in which I was taught in terms of, you know, your word is your bond, those kinds of things. And if you say you're going to do it, complete it. And part of I think that is part of the actual aspect of being able to be focused and completing it. Yes, I did like to, but that also meant that you had to kind of be careful, because I was in a physics component at school. It was a 5-year curriculum at the time, and I graduated in 4. So I had to give up some of that ski wee partying. I had to give up, and I met the love of my life, my husband, Carl Jackson. And we met in the College of Sciences because he was a biology major as well. So we were in there in that area. But coming back to that point of what you spoke to, there were very few people that looked like us, to be honest. And when we saw each other, it was like we were just so happy. We were happy. We were happy. And I can't say that I've not ever worked in an environment like that before.
Yeah.
And I just think it depends on the people, because when you're confident and you know what you know, can't nobody take that from you.
Yeah.
Right.
Nobody can take that from you. So to the young girls out there, especially to the young people, if you know what you know, and yes, it may not happen overnight, but you will get there.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And it's a step process. I think right now, sometimes we deal with the microwave generation, where they feel like I need it and I need it now. And I understand that. I do, because I think if you have what it takes, go out there and get it now,
Right.
But at the same time, there is a gradual process. Sometimes you have to say, something called wisdom and experience. And it taught me some things, having going from one to the other, breaking the glass ceiling, in terms of where we were. There were times when we wanted to do certain things, and the ombudsman, he was like my father mentor, and he would just pull me and say, "Pearlie, you can't do that." I said, "But we should do this, and we need to show them." No, you want your job, don't you?
Right.
So a lot of wisdom, but it also took a level of understanding of where you were. But I still go on the premise of, if you know what you know, no one can take that from you. And it's just navigating it through. Because even now, when I think about, and I say, going from Houston to Nashville, and it was, I got married, and we relocated here to Nashville, Tennessee. And I didn't really know what it was going to bring about, but it's something about having that STEM degree that afforded me opportunities. And I'm grateful. I'm very grateful for that as well.
That's phenomenal. Hey, Pearlie, we got to take a break.
Sure.
So you can get a glass of water or whatever you decide to drink.
It's water. It is water.
I remember mine this time.
All right.
I never do. What an amazing discussion.
Yes, it is. She's deep.
Yes, I love it. Especially just the aspect of STEM in general, and just inspiring, encouraging more women and young girls to even adopt or go into the field. Can't say enough about it.
Right. So thank you all for joining us for season 3 of Women with Grit. Yay! We looked at our numbers, and Sherelle will go into that later, but last year was a lot bigger than we thought.
So thank you all for that. Yes.
Yes. Thank you all. Lots of downloads, lots of listens. It was a phenomenal year. But right now, I want to thank our sponsors, Sherelle Lance with Vision Strategy Management. Go check out her website. She's got books and courses and all kind of goodies on there that will help you move forward in your career, your business, and in your life. And it's visionstrategymanagement.com, visionstrategymanagement.com. Also, Terrell was on here earlier. Terrell with Molet Investment Services. So Terrell he's killing it right now. He's talking to a lot of people and helping get them straight, and just helping them move forward. And one of the things that you all have to think about is that do you have enough life insurance? Do you have enough life insurance? If you have kids, a spouse, significant other, house, and you don't have life insurance, then you are not doing your family justice. So Terrell will be happy to help you get the proper life insurance, as well as give you a financial checkup and help you with your financial plan. Again, we stated earlier, Terrell Pearlie, Terrell at MoletInvestmentServices.com. Terrell at MoletInvestmentServices.com is the best way to reach him. Reach out to MJC Insurance. I talked about it earlier. They're really good at helping you save money and find the best value for insurance for you and your family. Your auto insurance, your homeowner's insurance, your motorcycle insurance, your Winnebago insurance, whatever it is that you need insured, they're happy to help you. Brianna is the one person I work with over there. But go to mjcins.com, mjcinsurance.com, and they will be happy to help you move forward with your insurance needs. And The Table, check out our website, thetableaction.com, thetableaction.com. The Table is designed to help people of color increase their levels of prosperity across our region. So check it out, look at how we do it. And if it's the right thing for you, or you have questions, you can always ask questions on the site, or if you'd like to join, go ahead and join. But we're happy to have you, and just a lot of phenomenal things that are going on with The Table. And last but not least, we want to thank Frank Stanton Developers. That's my new company, you all. So it's named after my granddad. That's a whole nother story. But we're building in Brentwood right now. We finished up most of our projects in Nashville, and have a couple more that are going to be coming up. And we have a condominium project, Alto and Contralto, that will be coming up in Midtown. It's 129 units, and then we have a couple other things that we're working on. So check us out. If you have any questions, definitely happy to help you. Lee at fsdevelopers@gmail.com. Lee.fsdevelopers@gmail.com. But we're happy to help you if you have family land or some land that you've purchased and you always wanted to develop but didn't know where the heck to get started. Give us a shout. We'll be happy to help you get moving. So Sherelle, what else do we have? Season 3. What else we got?
A whole bunch coming, and we're just so excited about it. And thank you all definitely for joining in. Continue to shower your love on this phenomenal, exceptional woman with grit, Pearlie. Like Lee mentioned, last season, actually the last full year, because we've actually been doing this for a year and now just a couple of months, we had over 100,000 of you view, like, share our events, and actually engage with us. And so we thank you for continuing to follow us, thank you for actually watching the show, and again, continuing to support all of these amazing women with grit. Couldn't do it without you. So definitely want to thank you all for that, right?
Yeah. And make sure you let your friends know we're kicking into the last quarter of the show. So do a share, let your people know that Pearlie's rocking it and somebody they want to learn from. We're going to talk about family in this next segment. So let's go.
Right. All right, so let's bring Pearlie back up. Pearlie, welcome back. Hopefully you have quenched that thirst.
I have. I got a little water. Yes, I did.
Right. Yes. Hey, Pearlie, you're getting all kind of love online.
Okay.
Man, one of our sponsors, Terrell Pearlie, shouted you out.
Okay, Olive Branch Church.
I think you had a nephew.
Yeah, you know what? They love their auntie, and I love my family, y'all. I value my family. They are my rock. So, Hey, Cody. Hey.
Bennett Hayes.
Right.
Yep.
Because I told you I was from a large family, right? And, Hey, we believe in the power. We that faith is, and when you talk about direction, really, how you say order my steps, it
Mm-hmm.
had to be prayers from, and that's why I always tell people prayers don't have an end date, by the way. Hello.
Right. All
Okay.
right. I like that.
So
Prayers do not have an end date.
they
That
don't
is
have an
so
end date,
true.
so I'm thankful for those.
Yes. Was it Danielle Hayes?
Yeah. Said
Uh,
you're an amazing
Ced-
woman.
yes. Cedric Little. My Aunt
Okay.
Pearlie Hayes
He
Jackson is a
is in
brilliantly
Houston.
blessed woman of God. Hashtag Graham fam. Hashtag family.
All right. All right. Thank
Yeah.
you,
Yeah.
family. Thank
Yeah.
you.
Sharonda Scott, who listens regularly. Uh,
Yeah,
Pearlie loves adding to someone's growth. She is a
I
beautiful
do.
person.
Yes.
And so,
I
yeah.
do, but I like doing it, but I'm the kind of person that I don't need a title.
All right.
I like working behind the scenes and
Uh-huh.
kind of getting that thing done. And that's the part about the grit, because
Right.
honestly, you're not doing it for fame or for show. At
Hmm.
least because it will make room for itself. But you don't need to have this, because even when I was invited to the show, and I have to say, my girlfriend, I love her, Maydale, and hello, shout out to Wanda Williams. They were engineers, but I had to call them because I was like, okay, y'all, I need a title. I was like, I think I need a title because everybody else has a title. I need a title. And so they were like, okay, let's think about what you do, and I was thinking, what you doing now, what you done. They were like, girl, get out of here.
Well, they all love you, Glenda Howe.
That's
Uh,
from my grand fam. Thank you. Thank
yes,
you. Hello,
S.
hello.
S. Lasky, one of your line sisters.
Okay.
Renee
Yes, she is
Settles.
actually in Oklahoma, as a matter of fact, as
Okay.
well. So
Uh,
I
Renee
appreciate
Settles.
that. Shout out to
Denotis
everyone.
Watkins. Yeah, so you got a lot of love on here.
Yes.
So we're gonna roll into the family part of this.
Okay.
Right.
Um, you know,
Now,
it's
how does that technology blend in with family? But it's all good because
it is, it does blend in. It blends in. So, because one of the things that we realize is that, many of the people, so here's the thing. We have women and men that listen in. It's not, even
yeah,
though it's called Women with Grit and we
yeah.
feature women and women only, I'm the only dude around. So I put a picture of me. So it would be two of us sometimes. Uh, but,
You got
but
some dudes on this call because
yeah.
I saw that. You have
Right, you
some
got
guys. You do.
Half are
listening.
men,
But,
actually.
but what the guys say is that, hell, if it's working for her, it'll work for me. So I might as well learn. I can learn from anywhere, right? But so with the level of success that you've had and your husband's had, you all have three children as well.
We do.
So how does how do the things that you've learned from your career and life, how does that translate into family and how you all chose to raise your kids and those things?
Oh wow. And thank you for asking that. That is so important because as I say, it takes a village.
Mm-hmm.
And honestly, for us raising our children, there are just certain things and values that you don't steer from. No matter
Yeah.
how much education you have, no matter how much wealth you may have acquired, there are just some basic fundamental things that we believe in. And now that's not to say that we didn't stumble and make mistakes along the way, but when you think about that, and especially today, and balancing it takes balance because sometimes it may be 90-10 and 10-90 because
Mm-hmm.
when I was going, went to school, Carl went to Meharry, and because I graduated from Grambling, and I said, you know what, you're gonna have to go on and stay with the Qs, do whatever they do, because I got a career. You know what I'm saying? And ladies, don't get caught up. Stay
Uh-oh.
focused.
Uh-oh.
Focus. You know what
Uh-oh.
I'm saying? But what I'm saying is basically, and I say that to say that he actually went on to Meharry, and during his last year at Meharry, actually, we were we engaged, And I think Carl Jackson was like, okay, I'm gonna give you this ring, and I actually didn't go look for the ring because I was, I don't know, I'm kind of old fashioned. I wanted him. And I just said it'll take place some kind of way. And honestly, my father passed in 1990. So he went and asked my mother for the hand in marriage. I didn't know all of this was going on. Okay. So when we talk about some basic principles and just some, how you say old fashioned stuff, you might look at us now, but we still kind of old fashioned a little bit, but just some things like that he did. But I think knowing that with family and growing, because everybody is in all three, raised same kind of way, but children. And I have an amazing 25-year-old son, Ian Jackson.
All right, Ian.
3-year-old son, Ethan, and a 20-year-old daughter, Elise Constance. So they are all amazing. I love them dearly. We both do. But we had to kind of juggle because it may have meant, and I have to be honest with you, with Carl doing residency, I had to take on some of that responsibility. I was the one dropping off to school, and not to be in a mean way, but it's like knowing who's gonna do what. This segment of the world, it was a give and take, and knowing that sometimes you have to look beyond today to tomorrow, because people may look at you today. When I think about, when we first moved here and we had like little or no money and, and people are like, well, what do you mean? Because they see you now, they might see you driving a certain kind of car. You might be living on this kind of street. And I'm just like, keep it for real. We all got light bills, what I'm saying? We all have electric bills. But at the same time, knowing that you have a goal, and it's like helping each other to get and acquire those things. But basic foundation, we believe in education. Now, granted, 2 of our sons actually started at Morehouse College.
Okay.
And I say started is the key word because there's still hope. There's still hope, y'all. There's still hope. But
you said they're on the extended program.
Yeah, extended program. But actually, Ian, he, we still trying to hold out on that decision, but at the same time, he actually stepped out and started Forex trading. And that's kind of risky, but they are doing an excellent job. It's networking. It's kind of scary. And that's why I say being able to because you have to realize what is my vision may not be the vision for someone else. Right. And it took after, we had some heated discussion. And I mean some heated discussion because we was looking for some money back.
Can I get a refund?
Yes, definitely. And so from that perspective, and then Ethan, he stepped out and he's still trying to figure out what he wants to do. We're still trying to figure out what he wants to do. But we're here to support them. Right. Elise, she's at Spelman now. She's doing well as well. So they all have had opportunity. And what we wanted to do was actually give them a foundation. Okay. Because, how you say, build that foundation up so that they will be able to do wherever, it's like, okay, I know that you all have some principles. It may not be what we want to do in terms of career, but they're just some principles that we stand on and we believe on. So, yes. Gotcha. I might be too chatty.
No, you're fine. You're fine. People aren't tuning in to listen to Sherelle or myself.
Oh, okay.
They won't hear you.
Actually pull information out, but that's about it.
Yeah, Sherelle's probably got a question for you.
Okay. But no, it's a give and take, and just knowing, sharing responsibilities between husband and wife, and there's no I'm in charge and you in charge, because the pressure used to actually be on me because I love to cook. But I tell you one thing, Lee. And then Carl told me, he was like, you kind of you burn yourself out because I can eat a sandwich. Why did he tell me that? I was like, all right, buddy. You're gonna have some sandwiches. No. I'm kidding though, but I love to. Yeah, I love to cook. I do. I love to cook. I'm from Louisiana. We love
Mm.
good tasting food. We don't like people perpetrating seasoning, saying you're from
Uh-oh.
Louisiana.
Mm.
And I'd be
Uh-oh.
like, this is not real gumbo. This is not
Uh-oh.
this is
Ooh.
not real
Ooh.
etouffee, you know.
Uh-oh.
So
Uh-oh.
but
I have to send a pot over.
all in love, all in love,
Mhm.
all in love.
Indeed.
Yeah.
Well, Pearlie, this has been just so phenomenal. And I want to make sure that we open it up. So if there's anyone that has any questions, feel free to
Okay.
leave them on whatever platform that you are on, and we'll be sure to get those questions over to Pearlie. And while they're doing that, while people are thinking about the questions that they want or have for you, the question I have for you is, Pearlie, as you think about, as if you had the ears of all of the industry leaders around the world, what's one message that you would send or leave them as it relates to women in, whether it be in STEM or in their respective careers?
Um, I would have to say there's not a door to possibility.
Mm.
Um, create your own opportunity at times.
Uh-huh.
And when a door opens, walk through it.
Yes.
You know, I think sometimes we are hesitant and we are a little cautious, and I understand that. But I think today, and especially when a door is open, and sometimes you got to kick the door open, you know. I hate to be, but sometimes you have to make sure that that door stays open and keep the door open so that you can let somebody else come through the door.
That's
Right.
right.
You
Hmm.
know, that's the
Don't
main
close
thing.
it behind you.
Keep
That's
the door open so that someone else can come through that door, you know? So,
right.
yes.
I love that. And again, if you all have any questions, feel free to leave them here for Pearlie. Pearlie, I'm going to give a quick summary recap because this
Okay.
is so amazing. And just to share some of the nuggets of wisdom from our guest Pearlie Jackson. Again, if you're just tuning in, be sure to go back and listen to this video, watch it again, share, like it, disseminate it amongst all of your friends. Some of the key things that she mentioned was definitely around, it takes a community when it comes to success, and it comes to even her being able to chart her path. It takes a community and really someone being able to champion your success, but you have to show up and you have to own the space in the room, value, and also be able to provide the quality to the work that you do. Speak to young women or others that are coming up through the ranks, whether it be in STEM or in their careers, positively. Be an inspiration to them. Keep the hope alive. Continue to create opportunities and sponsor someone. Be willing to sign your name up behind them to give them an opportunity. And also, as it relates to women, we talked about, getting out of our own way. That was a recurring theme last season as well. It's just being able to get out of our own way. It takes balance, and don't deviate from your values. If it's something you value, stick to it. Sometimes you have to look beyond today to see a future and be able to work towards it. Stand on your principles and do not deviate. And where there is, to the industry leaders, there is no door to possibility. Sometimes you have to create your own opportunities and kick the door down, walk through it, move through it, but it takes confidence in order to make action happen. Pearlie, it has been phenomenal.
Yes, it has been.
Phenomenal. So let me see if we have any questions. We have a couple from Sharonda. Sharonda says, Pearlie, would you change any steps that you've taken along the way in your journey?
Um, yes, I probably would. I really would, because when I think about opportunities and possibly how I went through certain doors in terms of going after it. And I think at that time, sometimes when you have a door closed, you sometimes may stay behind that door too long.
Mm.
And I think it's important for you to also continue to associate yourself with positive minded people, because the naysayers can be wrong. Now, that's not to say someone's not going to be realistic with you, but at the same time, being able to do that, and all, I think also now, in when I look at opportunity and sometimes missteps, I think missteps are sometimes good because it gives you and I believe in self-evaluation also. At the end of the day, I'm evaluating exactly how did I talk to that person. Could I have said what I said better, or should I've said nothing? One of the greatest communication tools is just listening. And that's one of the things sometimes we fall short in terms of communicating. So I think if I had to look at it again, Sharonda, I would, but I am a great listener, but I think I would listen a little bit more.
Awesome. Thank you for that. Now, I want to make sure that Elise has a question for you.
Oh,
Elise says, what has been your greatest obstacle as a Black woman in STEM?
oh, go on, daughter. Ask that question, will you? We gonna tell it to her mama on live
And she
stream.
earlier she said you've done a great job, Mom.
Oh, okay.
Oh,
Thank you.
great
Thank
job.
you. But I think one of the greatest obstacles have been in terms of the STEM. Um, and I have to be honest with yourself, with me, is that not seeing enough of us. And sometimes it's disheartening, and even just in women in general. Um, but I think that has sometimes been that obstacle when I look around and I look in the room and you see that hidden figure picture about you're in that room and you don't see enough of you. I think that has been it, because I think in terms of when we talk about encouraging each other, um, when I talk about that glass ceiling, and being able to know when to reach out and have mentoring there for you, or to reach out in different facets and have a mentor, because a lot of times we may get to a position and we forget where we are. And I think it's important that we continue to be reminded that it's not about us, but keeping the generation there so that they have that opportunity. So for Elise, I think not seeing enough of you all in STEM, but at the same time, creating opportunities wherever you are, so that, and I've seen where in the STEM program in corporate America, especially, that sometimes the only way that you can get in is through another person reaching to get you in. So
Mm.
if you are in a managerial position, if you are on the C-suite, creating programs and actually being intentional about diversity and inclusion, bringing those people to the forefront. Because to me, when a corporation says that I don't see, or I have no qualified people, I am disturbed, because you got too many HBCUs. I'm an HBCU graduate. And as I told you, I knew what I knew no matter what.
Right.
They are qualified. So being intentional enough to go out there and reach and get those graduates, set up programs so that you're intentional about going back and getting those people and bringing them to the forefront.
Awesome. Wow. Well, the hour sadly has gone by so fast.
It has. Yes, indeed.
It definitely has. Lee, any final words we want to wrap before I kind of we close out with Pearlie and introduce the guest for next week?
No, Pearlie, thank you. This was phenomenal. Truly a treat to get to know you even more outside of shuffling kids around and being at different practices and meets and games and everything. And so it's a wonderful thing to see your children progress and the support that you're giving them, and giving them an opportunity to chart their own path. And I always hear, as we all did, at some point we look back and say, Mom and Daddy were right. We should have. But it's
Exactly.
right. But it's definitely fun to watch them do their thing. So thanks again for joining us. Thanks for the wisdom that you've shared. Just so many great comments where people are growing and learning, and that's exactly what Women with Grit is all about. And so thank you, and tell my frat brother I said what's up. And
I will indeed. I
look to
will
see
indeed.
you
Thank you.
all somewhere soon.
Thank you both for having me again and the opportunity to just share, I guess, a little bit about me, I guess.
Yeah.
And definitely, Pearlie, if you get an opportunity, be sure to check out the platforms, all of the comments and love that you have. We'll
Okay.
also put some on the screen here as we close out. But like Lee has already said, we thank you so much for joining us, for sharing your unique story of grit. And we'll catch you another time. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Next week on Women with Grit, please feel free to join in with us again, like and share. If you would like to see this again, please catch the replay on YouTube, on Facebook, or you can catch us on our website, www.womenwithgrit.com. Next week, we have another exceptional woman with grit by the name of Carrie Peel. So be sure to join in, learn a little bit more. We talked a little bit today with Pearlie about, her and her experience of over 35 years in STEM. Next week, we have over 35 years in entrepreneurship. So thank you so much. Have a
Thank you
wonderful
all.
night.
Yep. See you all next week. And again, share this with all your friends. If they missed it, they will thank you for sharing.
That's right. Good night.